I'm Joe Kane.
I'm Dan Kane.
I'm Sal Conca.
And this is The Imperfect Podcast.
Don't forget to check us out at hecklerkane.com and everywhere on social media.
To the bumper.
This week on The Imperfect Podcast, we're going to talk about our latest indie film, Jump.
An ancient artifact transports Steve through the worst possible scenarios, from a mobster's poker game to witnessing a murder. You got to look for it this fall. Let's talk a little bit about our preparation and what we went through to get ready for this film.
Yeah, I know a lot goes into every indie film. I think a lot of independent filmmakers out there, they're either prepared or they're not. And, everything we do tries to keep us on, is meant to keep us on track.
Well, let's just give a little bit of a list of what pre-production actually is. Pre-production starts with the script.
Yep.
So basically, you have to get the script. You have to come with something to fruition, and this is our process that we went through. I'm hoping that sharing this will help somebody out there.
And this film is how long?
This is going to be approximately between 7 and 10 minutes. We're not sure, obviously, until it's completely edited. The script is actually 7 pages, but there's a lot more going on in the script than the 7 pages worth.
Yep.
Which does lengthen a script. Generally, they say it's a page per minute of filming. What we're looking at here is you start out with the script, and we throw the script on the table, and everybody kind of chimes in and goes, okay, this is good, this is bad, this is whatever, and we come up with a final script. That is the first piece of pre-production, and obviously deciding to go ahead with the particular script too is part of pre-production.
Yeah, it goes through a bunch of edits. We went through a bunch of characters. We went through a bunch of locations, right? All of those things when writing through the script, I think, are taken into consideration, right? Knowing that, one, we have zero budget.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't write something that's not within your means.
Well, that's the thing. Personally, when I'm writing something, I take a look at it and I go, well, how can we achieve this with what we're doing, with what the means are that we have? We're doing this one on completely zero budget. The only budget that's been only monies that are being spent are buying some food for the crew during the actual filming,
and some new equipment.
We did get a new toy, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
As far as that, the next step there after pre-production, after getting the script and putting it in place, is deciding what our actors are going to be, who's going to fulfill these roles. Now, obviously, we're going on zero budget. We didn't really go out there. We did put a casting notice out for a couple of the parts that we couldn't fulfill throughout without using our friends. Right now, we just used our friends for this entire project. And we used ourselves. We're all playing a part in this movie too, just because that is the way to do it on a $0 budget.
Yep. And this film was not made for, as opposed to the last couple of things we've done, this had no original intent for, it was not meant for a film festival, it wasn't for a contest. This is something that we decided to put together to test our own skills and limits, right? In terms of doing some more special effect work, some green screening, and taking into account our editing abilities. So, the reason and the premise for doing this was, one, we wanted to put out a great story, but at the same time, we wanted to do something that would showcase as well as test our limits to push us to new levels.
If you play it safe constantly, you're never going to get better at anything that you're doing. If you play it safe, you're never going to know what your potential is.
Yep.
You're not going to fulfill what you're capable of doing, because you need to push those boundaries a little further each time. And you may fail at it. There's no two ways about it. You may fail at it. And
is everything going to be perfect in this film? Absolutely not.
No.
Right? We know this film is not going to come out 100% perfect.
Yeah. All right, so the next part of prep is, obviously trying to find a crew, but we did it ourselves, basically. Because it's $0, we were the crew. You're looking at the crew. We did play parts in there.
Yep.
We were camera, we were audio, we were...
Yeah, Dan, how many things did you do today?
A lot. I did audio, clapboard, grip. I would carrying stuff back and forth and moving cameras around, so pretty much did a little bit of everything except for the acting today. But
Yeah, you weren't on for today,
Yeah.
but you're going to be shooting in a couple days from now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's pretty much it, right? I mean, everybody has to take on multiple roles. Realistically, it's like 5 of us as the core crew.
Yeah.
And we had 1 main actor. That was the most of the day. And then we had some other people coming in and out of scenes.
Yeah.
But, you pretty much, because it was a 2-camera shoot, right? So we had, 2 folks on camera, somebody running sound at all times. We had somebody shooting some behind the scenes stuff, and it's enough to get it done.
Yeah.
We, I think, had a good flow because we've shot enough together.
Yeah.
So that's
well,
the
we
good
know
news.
we know how each other thinks. I mean, I can look at you and just know that this is what we need to get done, and
Right.
you'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's where the relationships of having a tight crew comes into play. I mean,
Yeah.
I did everything today. I mean, I think I started with you guys doing sound. I've moved into helping with directing and producing, and
Yeah.
then I'm behind the camera a bit and still doing sound and, other things. So,
And all important, you're doing a lot of the social media too.
well, yeah, that's just a completely
That's
separate
a whole
thing.
other beast, but that's something that needs to be taken in consideration in the world and the climate that we live in. If you're not, if you don't have somebody who's consciously going, I need to take pictures, I need to get background stuff behind the scenes, I need to get this, and have everything so that we have some content for our social media. It's kind of a moot point. It won't ever get out there.
Exactly. So, I mean, we actually had somebody dedicated to filming back behind the scenes footage all day.
Yeah.
Just so we can either have that for post production or blooper rolls or whatever it is. I mean, you start to think ahead about this stuff because you go, I want it. I want to be able to shoot and have a promo reel when the film releases. I want to be able to have pictures to release for Instagram, or I want to be able to write a blog post, or all those sorts of things that are happening. I mean, we actually broadcasted live twice on Periscope today during the filming process. We've never done it before. Did we get any viewers? No. We don't have a big following, so it's not that's a huge deal. I take it all in stride. It's like it's practice. Hopefully one day we'll be on a bigger stage, and these skills that you gain on these smaller projects, each time you do it, you just get better and better.
Well, more on pre-production. I mean, the other things, obviously, we just talked about cast and crew that we had to get together, and we assembled them all for today. But we want to talk about the other things that we needed to work on. We needed to get wardrobe together. Mm-hmm. I was running around for the past 2 weeks picking out little pieces of clothes and things that we had to get 2 sets of each clothes, because there's a dirty set and a clean set. And jumping when you're on set, you can't necessarily have one piece of clothes and go, okay, well, we got to go wash this, just even for dirty or clean.
Yep.
It has to be, okay, well, we have another set, get the clean set on, get the dirty set off, vice versa.
And when we say we have no budget, we still got to go spend money on wardrobe, and
Yeah.
even though it's a couple of bucks or whatever it is, right?
Well, I raided the Salvation Army and all of the thrift shops around and worked on that. I probably on wardrobe spent $50 tops.
Yeah. Does that include makeup?
That includes makeup. That includes the makeup and things we had around here. I did have to buy a new set of lipstick.
There you go.
For this,
Nice.
but the other thing now is props too. Wardrobe is one thing, and props. Wardrobe, we kind of lumped in makeup for some reason, but makeup is definitely a viable thing. We do have a nice scene in here where one of the lead actors gets beaten up, and he has to have a decent amount of
Yeah, you can go to our
bumps and
Instagram.
bruises.
You can go to our Instagram account and you can see the pictures there.
Yeah. And then props is the other thing. We actually lost a prop this morning.
Yeah.
That we thought we had locked down, and it was supposed to be picked up this morning, and I literally had to build a prop out of wood.
Yeah. Well, it looked fine.
It looked fine at a quick glance. It was something that wasn't all that important, and it didn't have to be shown that close up.
Right. But it's just one of the things that gets thrown at you that you got to just last minute figure it out,
Yep. You got to be adaptable in
Yeah.
in this world, especially even with locations.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention the other thing is locations, because you write a script and you try to figure out, okay, where do we want the scene to be? And then it's like, all right, where are we going to find something like that? And you're running around trying to find locations. Sometimes you can't get them. Sometimes it's no problem, but that ends up becoming something that you have to really figure out, and can be a hassle sometimes trying to find the right place to shoot.
Well, we're on Long Island, so we're here in Long Island, New York, and we have a lot of natural parks and preserves and oceans and beaches and a lot of beautiful places to shoot for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens to work to our advantage. I mean, I think there's probably not Long Island. I think all over the country, you probably find a lot of places that have beautiful scenery if you're willing to take advantage of them. I mean, we tend to stick local. I try to get Joe to break out of his comfort zone a little bit, get out of town, and at least find a different location. So,
working on it. We're getting there.
We're working on it.
Now, locations, just for example, today, we literally changed the location on one of the shoots. We needed a parking lot. And
With the motorcycles.
With the motorcycle scene that we had a motorcycle. And Sal actually suggested to me today, he goes, you know what, I have a better place and nobody's going to bother us. There won't be anything around.
Except for the cop
and we had a cop that came in. No, but the cop was like, "Oh, you guys all right? Everything good? Yeah, we're shooting a movie. Okay, bye.
Yep, peace out.
Peace out." So that's it. We did have the opportunity to move our locations around, and you started to say, you can attest to this. Shooting on the fly, you got to change.
Yeah.
Your flow of what you're doing.
If something doesn't work or you think something works better, you just got to go with it.
Well, let's put it this way. This is today was day one of this shoot. We're planning to shoot one more day, but we don't know. After we go to post, we may have more days. So you guys sat down last week, after we recorded last week's podcast, and sat down and just went through scene by scene. Right? You sat down with the script, scene by scene, every location, basically mapped out times because we knew we'd have actors for a certain period of time. We needed a garage, a Meineke Mechanics garage. A friend of ours owns one, and we could only get that after hours. So we know, okay, well, I got to be at the garage at 6:30. So you literally have to plan out every step, because if you don't, then you're just winging it, and you're like all over the place. Your day, you burn in daylight, as they say, and you'll lose the day.
Well, like I said, we like you just said, our schedule was absolutely golden today. Mm-hmm. We were actually on schedule. I don't think that's ever happened for us in any shoots today.
Yeah, Krista, one of our actresses and assistants, I think she was like, "This is the first time I've ever been home when you said I'd be home."
She's usually slaving into the wee hours with us, so she actually got a chance to go home on time and go see her kid.
Yep.
It's one of those things like the schedule. If we didn't have the schedule so clearly mapped out, it wouldn't have worked so well. So, I think that's part of it. That's all part of pre-production, is making sure that you have a schedule that works for everybody.
And with all of that, and having the entire wardrobe and the entire schedule and everything else, we get on location and realize we're missing wardrobe, right? Yeah. So, it happens. It's not anybody's fault, and you just end up running around. Even one of the new pieces of equipment that we were supposed to use today, right, was supposed to be delivered on time earlier in the week. We didn't get it till today, so we didn't have it for the morning shoot. We had to run home. I had to run home
and get
it for an hour, get back. These are the things you can't calculate, but everything else went well, and that's part of being prepared.
Yeah. We were able to, like you said, kill an hour, and it didn't kill the shoot. Because we flowed with things. We went and got some green screen shots that we needed to when you had to step out for a while to go get the piece of gear that we just got. It's flowing very well.
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think it's partly having shot a number of different things before, right? So just getting more comfortable, and the team being tighter, and that preparation. I think those combination of things have helped make things flow. So, if we have any advice out there for any filmmaker, and if they're just beginning, listen, it's great to be improvised. If you want to shoot stuff on the fly, we've done it, right? Go out. We've done these 48-hour film challenges. We've shot all sorts of things with different restrictions. But when you don't have budget and you don't have as many restrictions or whatever it is, take your time, plan it out, get it right, the first time.
I wanted to just make sure that would all work out, so that just precise times and just make sure.
Same thing for next week, right? Next week we're going to be shooting at one of the local colleges, and they're letting us use their library. They're only going to give it to us for a certain period of time, so everything else, the rest of the day, needs to revolve around that.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about some equipment and gear?
Sure. I love gear.
Mr. Gearhead. We should get a big gear.
Well, we got. Can I talk about our new toy that we got today?
Let's talk about the new toy.
We were looking into different mechanisms to use for sliders, and we got we saw online. It was on Amazon, And basically, and we'll put a link in the description for this because this was a cool little piece. It's called Newer is the name of the company, and it's a slider. And it's a simple little piece. It hooks onto your tripod. It can freestand, and it was really inexpensive. Basically, it's just a simple thing that slides the camera back and forth, and it increases the production value exponentially. Now, it's a piece of gear that I've wanted to get for a while, and we went in the cheap route, honestly. We said, we're doing this. We're not spending a ton of money on this production, but if we get this piece of gear, this will be our piece of gear for the production. So, in spending $50, we basically got this little slider, and it's a nice little piece of equipment, and it worked well.
I mean, ideally, we would have liked to have a new piece of equipment sooner.
I would have liked to have tried it out first.
To play with it, you don't know like how far. Like with a piece of equipment like this, it's great. Oh, it slides from here to here, but it's still limited. And it's like, okay, do I have to figure out how to zoom? How close do I need to be? All that type of stuff that comes into it, and actually creating the shot and making the tool work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, talk about your cameras.
I talk about I love my cameras. These are our cameras that we use. We have two of them. They are the Canon 70Ds, and I've talked about this before in the podcast here. And basically, the Canon 70Ds are, like I said, we have two of them. They're full frame sensors, which makes a huge difference when you're editing and when you've pulled everything back, and to shoot on the full frame sensor. It does have automatic servo lens that comes with it with the kit. We do have a couple of lenses that we've upgraded over time, but I don't want to get into those right now. But the kit lens actually is perfectly viable for use in what we used. Actually, we used the kit lens on at least half the shots today, and it's perfectly fine. And the 70D is an SD, reads the SD cards. We have extra batteries, which is something you should always have. If you are using any product that takes a battery, you want to have extra batteries. So we have the extra batteries. We got through the shoot with these cameras, and they are good, solid pieces of gear. Yeah. I dropped one today.
Yep.
I picked it up, I dusted it off, and I kept going.
Yep.
So the 70Ds definitely are a good, solid camera for filmmaking, for indie filmmaking.
Yeah, and what's the budget on that you need?
They are a little pricey. They're between. I mean, if you get a stripped down version of it, you can get it with just the body for approximately between 11 and 12. If you get it with the full kit with the extra pieces and stuff, it's about 23 to 3,000 to depending on what you get with it.
Yep.
Meaning extra batteries and all the other goodies that go with it.
Sure. So shooting on these cameras is going to run you a couple grand for your indie film.
Yes.
But you're going to get a lifetime out of them. And
we've shot a lot with them.
Yeah, we've shot almost every, I don't know, the last 4, 5, 6 productions.
Yeah, all on the 70Ds. Now, we have worked with other cameras, too. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But, and we've gotten some nice, the higher level Canons in our hands for different things that we've rented. But these are our cameras, so that's something you should invest in. Get a nice piece of glass and a good camera body to increase what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. And now, so sometimes we are doing them handheld, but we've learned that we want better shots. One of the reasons why we got the slider, was to have more stability, right? Stabilization. So we have to lock that down with a tripod. So I know we're also using tripods to lock down at least one of the two cameras, so we can have one freehand shot that may follow a character, and then also have your lockdown shot, especially for the green screen action, right? Because we need things to be continuous, right?
Yeah.
So what type of tripod are we using? That I know we got a pretty heavy duty tripod.
It's a heavy duty Manfrotto. I don't remember the specific model number, but we'll get that and put that in the description. And it's a staple. You have to have this. You have to have something that you can lock down the shots on to make it go. But we actually also have a second tripod that we just kind of have around, and that was a Target tripod that I got for, I want to say, about $39.
There you go.
And it does the job. It does the job.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Heavy Man Frodo is is a nice piece of gear, but it's
Exactly.
you can get away with the cheaper tripod.
But listen, sometimes your tripod's not even enough, right? I mean, we were at the mechanics, the garage
Yeah.
today, and we were shooting a car up on a lift, so we had the tripod fully extended, and we still couldn't get the camera in the car window, and so now we're hoisting the tripod on top of boxes just to get
standing on ladders.
yeah, so there's a lot that goes on here to get in some of these shots. Joe likes to climb. I think he's the monkey in the group. He likes to get him a banana and a tail for the next shoot. So I mean, other pieces of equipment that we've used is the mic and the recorder. So I run sound, but I'm not a gearhead. I know the microphone that we use is Audio Technica, the AT897.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that, Joe?
I chose that because we had tried out a couple of the Rode mics and a couple of the Sennheiser mics, and we were back and forth. And I just personally, it's the most roadworthy. It's kind of the most durable out of all of them, and it's for the price. They're going for around $250 now, 250 to $300, and for the price and for the durability, the clarity is excellent. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
that was just kind of a trial and error. Let's talk a little bit about the lights too. We actually brought two lighting array systems. Genarray makes a nice light. It's a 240. They're going for about $129 to $139 depending on the day. They seem to vary. And we had two of them with batteries. Basically, we did a lot of outside shots today. We did a lot of things where it was on the fly, it was on the go, because it's our own little low budget thing that we're making. Mm-hmm. These two lights lit everything for us. That was everything that we needed in these two lights. And basically, we had little stands. We threw them up, and they were battery operated. We were able to use them in the woods. This was a problem we had faced in the past. We shot a scene in the woods, and it was like, oh, we have no lights. Too bad. Or you got to run a really long extension cord, and that's that's not practical where we were in the woods today.
Yeah.
So these were great little additions to our kit, but these are things we had. And
Well, that's part of it too. I think as we go on, we keep accumulating new equipment. We're fortunate. Joe's a gearhead, but we continue to accumulate things over time. I mean, if you could actually pan the camera around this room, you can tell by the array of guitars we have back here. That's only, part of Joe's gear. So
I like gear.
it's all over this room.
Well,
And it's not just film stuff.
Here's the thing. My philosophy is you get a new piece of gear each shoot you do, each thing that you do, and you build up your gear. You're not going to go out and buy everything all at once. You're not going to go out and buy, all of your lighting gear, all of your sound gear, everything. But if you can put aside some money and you go, okay, I'm doing this next project, and you get something that's going to further every single project in the future. Don't go and buy something and go, oh, I just wanted this. Well, no, you buy it and go, how can this benefit us in the future? And we use on every single shoot from now on.
Yep.
And that's kind of my philosophy on it. And we bought, like I said, we bought the slider today. That was supposed to come last week, and we got today. Yeah. Here's the great thing about this. We've learned a lot on this set every day, and every set that you get on, I think you learn a little more and more. Mm-hmm. And every time you go out there and you do it and you help somebody out and you become part of the project, you become part of the solution. Every person on set is valuable. It's the simple things that you do, and the simple things that we work collaboratively and we work together, and we try to figure out how to make the best possible product to put out when this whole thing is done.
We're experimenting with shots, and the great thing about digital, I think like that Christopher Gladys said last week on our Swivel Shot interview, it was like, great thing about digital now is just shoot.
Yeah,
shoot
you
and
don't
shoot.
have to worry about paying for film and each individual thing. It's an SD card, and you erase it if it doesn't work. Here's the thing: you plan out your shots the best you can, but you got to roll with the punches with anything that's thrown at you on the particular day. Things will not work. Innately will not work. As best plan as you could do it, James Cameron could be out there, Steven Spielberg. They go out there and they go, okay, this didn't work. Got back. Let's figure it out quick.
So what do you think the hardest part about today was?
The hardest part was just trying to keep everything in order. There was a lot of little aspects. We shot very much out of order in this movie, and for me personally, just trying to keep everything in my head, because I think I'm the director of this, if we didn't figure that out yet, if you're listening. As the director, you are trying to keep everything flowing, that, you know, things going from point A to point B, and, you know, not everybody on set is knowing the whole story.
Yeah.
So
even
I'm
if
trying
everybody may have read the script,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we're shooting out of order.
Yeah. So I had to kind of, like, for me, that the hardest thing was trying to conceptually keep the story order intact.
Going through the whole process, what becomes really key is all the slating that Dan did.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what's going to, and in post-production, all the slates and determining, you know, the scenes and the takes and all that stuff. So if you guys out there are filming stuff and you're not slating your scenes, we've done it before without it. How much of a nightmare is editing without slates?
It's horrible. It's horrible. Because you're digging through clips that, oh my God, this looks the same, this looks the same, this looks the same. Did I click on the same clip twice? I don't know. You know, when you have a clear slate in the beginning of each scene, it's really easy to just go, okay, this take, and this take. And you when you're slating, you know, also, you know, jot down, hey, this was the good take.
Yep.
Take 3 was the good take. Take 2 was the good take, you know, and you just keep a little notebook or a notepad. It doesn't even have to be that big, you know. Scene 4A, take 2. That's all you write down.
That's it today for the Imperfect Podcast. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check us out on hecklerkane.com and all the social media outlets.